Oh my god. Alright, here we are again with another Nikke video. And I'm sorry, did I say Nikke? Oh, I forgot. Actually, no, I'm actually talking about clan battle right now on Princess Connect. Oh, alright, so I know word of mouth has already been happening, but basically this game's Union Raid is going to be basically Princess Connect clan battle with a little bit of just what Nikke has been doing. And holy anyways, let's get started. Now let's talk about how exactly different it is. If you guys didn't know, you know, I was previously Princess Connect. I was in a top 1 clan as well before, and I was consistently in the top 10 guild after, and then we reached rank 1 as well. And I played with Mr. Tim before as well when I was in the auto clan battle. Okay, anyways, let's do something fun today. What if I describe Nikke clan battle while listening to my description of clan battle in Princess Connect, because this actually it's similar in so many ways. This game is clan battle. Let's talk about clan battle. Clan battle, to explain it in simplest terms, is just a series of boss fights. Boss shares the same HP pool within the clan. Your goal as a clan member is to attack the bosses. Each member can only attack 3 times a day in clan battle, and you use 5 units per attack. You cannot reuse the same unit that you've already used, but the only exception is the unit that you borrow from your clan member. Okay, pausing on that one. So it was almost true. It was basically the same thing as they have been discussing in here, except for one part, which is what I just said just now, borrowing from clan. So it doesn't seem like based on this, what they talked about, it doesn't seem like we can borrow, or there was no mention of like borrowing clan members units here. So what that means is there's no unit that will be used the same one twice. So one thing is in Princess Connect was you can use someone who is very strong at debuffing, which is Makoto. That's their equivalent of litter back then. It doesn't seem like we're gonna be able to have a team where there's one Makoto in one team and then another team was a borrowed Makoto from the member or from the team member, and then another team has a borrowed Makoto or litter in the another team. So basically, like, we are able to kind of rotate. At least there's a variety in the team. Now let's listen to it a bit more. So at minimum, to become a very active or functional member, you need to raise at least 12 units. Different, well, so not 12, it's gonna be 15 units will actually be used in different bosses, so it actually might be more than just 12 units. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Like, each boss will probably have some more efficient team. Like, think about like the special interceptions that we have been doing in chatterbox. Rocket launchers are really good, right? But then you probably don't need to use rocket launchers necessarily on Modernia, for example. So you might end up needing to build more than 15 just so that you can accommodate for the different bosses. And sometimes when you start hitting, the boss that you are efficient at might not necessarily be the boss that you are going to be hitting at. Once you have killed all the bosses revive again, and after a certain amount of times doing this, the bosses get stronger. If you wish to be competitive, that's exactly what they were talking about. As the raptures bosses were defeated, the next level will be stronger. The order of raptors will not change, so very basically similar to Princess Connect. In this game, most of your decision will revolve around clan battle. What banners are you going to pull? What units are going to be upgraded? Yeah, that sounds about right. What specific levels and gears do I need to set on this particular units? Okay, so for that one, that's the main thing. I guess one big thing that we'll probably, at least thankfully, not have to deal with, and that is like getting the levels into like a specific level so that we are efficient in that. Because if you guys didn't know, in Princess Connect, think about it like you're skill burst. Sometimes like it's better to keep your low units at lower level because you can generate energy burst faster, because when you take damage you gain energy burst. That probably will not necessarily be hopefully it's not needed on Nikke, so don't you dare click this button. Oh, you accidentally clicked that? Oh, sorry, it's to say, but your unit is bricked. Yeah, it doesn't seem like this game will have that much bricking or anything. And if anything, you can kind of just rearrange, or you can just play differently or play better if anything. That's just talking about things outside of the game battle. In terms of actual execution of the clan battle, there's a few things in order. Having a proper team composition is one. Having all the that's true. Units doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna the best units against this boss. Top guilds typically have one or few dedicated people who does research on which units are optimal against one boss. Yeah, that actually sounds about right. That's probably gonna happen as well in Nikke, but it might be more difficult to do it, mainly because each members will probably have different progression in terms of like their units, so it might be a little bit more difficult to test. The main reason is because in Princess Connect, the levels, there is always like a level cap, max level, every time there's like a new patch, and so everyone will typically be in the same position, or everyone else can reach that same position, and for the most part you can kind of copy whatever everyone else's strategy is, because everyone is roughly in the same level. In Nikke, there is a level scaling. Some people are probably level 240 now, or level 230, and some people are still like at level 160, so there's gonna be a lot of big difference on that one. Timeline execution. In almost every game, it's universally known that auto doesn't do the most optimal damage. Princess Connect is not any different in this regard, since the game constantly moves and it's not turn-based. The timing of skills end up becoming very important. So I think to a lesser extent, Nikke, this will happen in Nikke. The reason why this timelining happens in Princess Connect is because there's basically nothing else that you can optimize. So in Princess Connect, you can basically, all you have to do is just to click the character icon, and then they will execute their burst skill when it is available. This blue thing, that's their burst gauge. And so when it is available, you can use that. And I don't think that's gonna necessarily happen to Nikke in like a micro scale, like where you're specifically putting in the time, like specific time at 119 second and at 109 second. I don't think that's gonna be that, but there is probably going to be some sort of general timeline, like try to burst at this time. And if you guys haven't seen before, you can charge faster if you unleash like your skills or spam with like sniper rifle or rocket launchers, and that's probably going to be a important factor in this. So your burst will go faster, you will charge up faster because of that. And I could see that being like an important factor, because being able to burst faster will allow you to probably burst a lot faster as well in terms of the boss timings, and you might be able to squeeze in an extra burst, let's say, if you execute it pretty fast every time. So to that degree, I could see this being really kind of like a really important skill, being able to spam burst this, because this is probably going to be one of the more important skills, the way I kind of see it, because in Princess Connect, timing your burst was a lot more important. And I mean, Nikke obviously is not any different from that. We're talking about milliseconds or microseconds. Yeah, I could see microseconds, but that's probably the topmost guild, and people are probably gonna do it more in a micro level, in a self level, not like as a timeline that everyone will suggest. In Princess Connect, we make these timelines and then we send it to everyone else, and like for the most part almost everyone else can follow that timeline. But I think the timeline will be much more it's on you. Go ahead and test what your limits are. But the best thing that we can do instead is provide the tips and skill sets that how you can make it better. So one thing is basically like the fast charging, right? That's one way to make it better. Precise at the very top high end level, lining up your buffs along with your debuffs, using the proper order of skill. This sounds simple, but when you start seeing the efforts of top clans, you end up thinking twice about it. Since Princess Connect have typically no RNG in terms of character gears, levels, and skills, or anything that progresses your character, you can replicate almost each fight. Yeah, there's RNG in our gears in the sense that when you get to Overload does have different stats that you could roll into, and there I could see some where this could be a matter of changing, like for example increase the charge speed or max ammunition capacity. Those are probably like something that could offset like how a unit is being like able to energy generate. Like, you know, if you have max ammo capacity on Drake, she will be able to shoot for longer periods of time, and every reload will give her a lot more ammo, and which will allow her to charge maybe better or have better timing for energy charging. This allows people to keep using the same thing as everyone else and pretty much do the same action in order to min-max the damage. Yeah, not the same action, but the same team. I could definitely understand that. Like for example, using rocket launchers again, like at the very specific bosses like chatterbox, or like if Al Tyson, dear God, I don't see that being kind of like people are going to divert in different, but people are probably just going to do whichever one they can do. That doesn't necessarily mean that each battle is going to be exactly the same. When your unit dodges, when your units get stunned, slightly mistime your action, when the boss does critical damage. Man, for the most part, I don't see the RNG in terms of battle to happen as much. Maybe like I could see crits to make or break a difference. Like for example, relying on Snow White to do a crit so that you can kill one of these mobs, and if she doesn't crit, then the mobs is alive and it might offset your battle. I could see that being kind of like some factor of change, but for the most part you are in control of how the battle will flow, because of like you can control reverse, you can control when to shoot. It's a lot, there's a lot more control in Nikke, at least in that regards, but that means also it's a lot more hectic when you're controlling your characters. Different things can cause the runs to be slightly different, and guilds have a timeline they typically follow so that each members can maximize their damage as long as they follow the timeline. Coordination, all of these factors are where all the timeline matters. A top guild will have a bunch of different team compositions and yeah, okay, so you know, your top competitive guild might have something similar like this. You know, they will probably say, okay, member A attack on boss 1, member B attack on boss 1 as well, you two attack on boss 1 using this team, and then member 2 is like, okay, you attack this boss, and they're probably going to do that. I would say on the probably like on the very top most efficient like clans that I could see that happening. Probably the biggest thing is about this one, where a commander with high enough combat power can single-handedly defeat a Rapture. However, as difficulty rises, commanders with greater power are recommended to take on higher level Raptures. That's probably the biggest difference, I would say, in terms of clan battle in with Princess Connect versus Union Raid in Nikke. I could see that being a bigger factor, because now you could have your weaker members attack first, so that you know you're not wasting your stronger attack people, and maybe you will have to decide between having a stronger one attack a single boss once, or a weaker two weaker members to attack a single boss once, or you know they should go to the different boss instead and have the stronger member. In a sense, that would make the scheduling and timelining a lot more difficult, and in probably the most competitive clans, I could see that being one of the strategies that they're gonna do. Bunch of time. The way I could see that is they could have every member attack like mock battle every single boss in that rotation, and then they could see which one they can kill in with the least amount of investment, and then allocate whose member are going to attack on which boss in that lap, and then another lap happens and then they could allocate another member to that lap. You guys might think that this is super chill. I'm sorry to tell you, but anything that replicates Princess Connect clan battle, yes, on a casual level it will be chill, but on the most competitive level, I just want to say there is a reason why people have spent like over 18 hours plus in just a single day whenever doing their attacks in Princess Connect. If you try to do this scheduling and a little bit and apply the same competitiveness on Princess Connect as this, which I could see some guilds do, this is a lot more crazy. Timelines and a bunch of different scenarios in case when the run goes slightly different. Not only that, they have all organization where they allocate who or what attacks at which bosses and the coordinations of the timings of the attacks. There's a bunch more strategies, of course, and I'm just kind of scratching the surface on this when I'm just yeah, if you if you want like pure raw strategies, go to Mr. Tim's channel. He made a bunch of some Princess Connect clan videos. You're probably better to just search clan battle guides. Describing it right now, the game feels extremely different when you're in a very competitive clan during clan battle, and I would say majority of people are actually not going to experience this, but I think yeah, that's true, because I think I was just describing kind of how crazy it is when you're in a competitive clan, but in like a casual clan I could see this being a little bit more chill, because all you have to do is just do your attacks. I think majority of the clans in clan Princess Connect, they just say, okay, as long as you do your 3 attacks during clan battle, I think you're good. For the most part, I think that will be fine as well. In Nikke, I could see a lot more guilds implementing that, and really the topmost clans would probably be the ones that are going to have like a much more crazier time it is. I think it's worth noting to kind of talk about this a little bit, because this is one of the main things that the tryhards, the competitive people, are what they really like on this game. But obviously, I would say majority of the people actually probably have not experienced what I've been talking about. Most people are actually just probably trying to struggle to survive on these bosses, and I would say that's fine. There's no reason for you to sweat on that one, but yeah. So I think that's as much as I could immediately just talk about right now. You know, Princess Connect has max level cap, so there were a lot more balance in terms of each time there's a clan battle, and it was a lot more free to play friendly in Princess Connect. This game will probably have a lot more emphasis on how much you have swiped. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there is balancing in terms of the levels, because I see level 160 here, and then going here I see level 1s here, and then for some reason here is also level 80, so it doesn't seem like there is balancing in terms of levels. So your stronger people, you could have like level 240 and you could have some level 160. I don't think the timeline is going to be as necessary or going to be as important on majority of the people, but this could be a lot more in terms of like top guilds, very top guilds. There is nothing to worry about bricking or badly upgrading your characters about like that, because I think this game, it benefits you more to just constantly upgrade higher level so that you deal more damage. And yeah, the biggest thing about Nikke is like a lot of the members probably will have a lot more varying progress, unless, you know, the guild specifically kept recruiting just people that are like high level. But I can see this more as kind of like some people will probably be able to do a more aggressive team comp, but then some people will have to do, if they have to fight that same boss, probably have to use a little bit more defensive team comp just to survive longer. Yeah, overloaded gears won't be as important. No borrowing units, so 15 instead of 12 is probably what's gonna happen here, at least at minimum. Okay, there's this one last thing that I did, I think I noticed. Battle attempt will not be counted when the game ends abruptly. They did mention it here, where the battle attempt will not be counted if the game ends abruptly. What this means is people could probably just do force close the thing, but in Princess Connect it is a lot more important to keep track of that, because you can only reset once per day, and if you accidentally, like, your app turns off and then you try to do run again and then your app accidentally turned off, your run will be counted and then you'll basically it's a 0 damage. But we're not sure whether if you went in already, are you going to be stuck in that team and you have to use that team immediately? I'm not sure yet. Princess Connect had that situation before as well. Probably the most important thing was, if it's unlimited like force close app, at least we will be able to save our runs if probably maybe we did something bad and did like our hits really bad as well, so that's nice. The main reason why I'm saying that was because in Princess Connect, because once you got your reset already used, some people will probably just, and then the run went bad again in terms of like, oh god, I accidentally missed like a mechanic and then my unit died. What usually happens is you call in your members and then ask them to save you. By saving you, what that means is, if the boss probably have like 70% HP, you're probably gonna call like a bunch of people to just help kill that boss, because it's better to kill that boss, and so that your run won't be counted. You're gonna be in the pause screen waiting for them to finish their boss run, and then once the boss is dead, you try to finish your run, and what would happen is, oh, the boss is dead already, and your run doesn't end up being counted. Because it was way better for usually to have some other members try to save you and then save your run there, and then use your team again to a different boss instead. But yeah, I hope that was fun, entertaining, or useful of some sort, at least for Union Raid. I think there is going to be a lot of similarities in terms of how we tackle like the strategies behind Princess Connect, and if you probably would want to apply a same competitive level in that, I would probably look at the competitive guilds in Princess Connect and see how they have been doing it. If you have some connections, you could probably use that as well. But this is just my take on this thing, and may the best wishes for everyone here. If you guys would like to check me out, just make sure to visit me at twitch.tv/KaiJLV. I know a lot of you have been visiting me as well, and come and chill. We do play a bunch of different gacha varieties. I've started with Genshin Impact, Tower Fantasy, and then Nikke, and then whenever there's like other new gacha games, I always try that as well. A bunch of them I kind of share with Mr. Tim as well. I see him, whatever he's playing, like Brown Dust and stuff. Like, yeah, we just try all these different gacha games, and I know that Nikke is just one of them, and I know a bunch of my videos have been Nikke as well for now, but I'm just gonna add a bunch of different gacha games, and hopefully, you know, I always try to, if it's a game that I end up liking, I always just go try hard on it. But yeah, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.